Croeso pawb to the November savings and games under £15 PSN sales. This is a huge sale with a ton of games and DLC in it, but don't worry, I've gone through it and I've done all the hard work. I found some really cool games to play that are on massive discounts as well. So if you like finding cool new games to play and saving a lot of money along the way, then you're in the right place. Don't forget to subscribe and you won't miss a good deal again. You're welcome here anytime. Now this sale ends on the 22nd of November, so that'll be your last day to pick up these deals. Let's look at the games. First up is CID The Somanium Files. It was released in 2019, so it's 5 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £5.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, especially for a Japanese anime game. They're usually pretty expensive. In this visual novel, after a woman's dead body is found at the local theme park, Kanami Date, the assigned detective, realizes he knows the victim, and now he must investigate and interrogate suspects to find the killer and solve this sci-fi murder mystery. Now, visual novels in general aren't for everyone. There's a lot of reading in them, and a lot of them are romance-based, but this one's got a cool theme of an investigation, so it's a bit different. But if you're into visual novels, or you like games that are story-based, or you just enjoy reading in general, then you'll probably really like this sort of game. It may not be for everyone in this genre, but for the people that like it, they have a lot of fun with these. So hey, if you're into these games, and you like the idea of a sci-fi murder mystery, then take a look at this one. It's a really decent game, at a great price. So why not take a look at it if you like the sound of that? And hey, if you've never played a visual novel before, then you could definitely start here. Especially if you like murder mysteries and you like reading, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. Pretty much the only reason I'd say not to is if you don't like reading, or you're into games that are more gameplay orientated. But don't worry, there's plenty more games for you to choose from in this sale and future ones as well. CID The Snail is our next game. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, and is on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a cool looking game. This top-down shooter is set in a world long after humans vanished, and CID is banished from his citadel. Out in the wastelands, he finds a new civilization to live with, and must fight to protect it from a plague of slugs. It features puzzles, gruesome bosses, and a deep story as well. Now, most top-down shooters are action-based, and there's not really a lot of story or gameplay outside of the shooting. It's really skill-based, and usually leaderboards and that sort of thing is what drives people to play them. But hey, this game's got an actual story and a world to explore as well. So it may be a top-down shooter, but it has a whole world to explore, with people to talk to, and storylines to explore as well. So it's a bit like a Diablo dungeon crawler, I suppose, but with guns and a more futuristic sort of sci-fi theme, which is really cool. My gut feeling says this is a really good quality indie game, and I think anyone that gives it a try will probably enjoy it. So if you're into unique little top-down shooters, especially if you like stories and places to explore, then you'll really enjoy this game. If you're as intrigued as I am, why not check it out? It may just be the best game you've played in ages. And hey, if you've never played a top-down shooter before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good quality game at a really low price, so you can't ask for much more really. Pretty much the only reason I'd say not to pick it up is if you're not into the theme or the world and story. But hey, there's plenty more top-down shooters to choose from, so don't worry, I'll let you know when they're on sale as well. Up next is Cloudpunk. It was released in 2020, so it's 4 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £2.99, which is pretty good. Just keep in mind that the PS4 and PS5 versions are sold separately, but you can upgrade the PS4 one to the PS5. So if you want both, make sure you pick up the PS4 one and then upgrade it. If you pick up the PS5 one, you won't be able to get the PS4 one. Well, unless you buy it again anyway. This walking simulator is set in a rainy neo-noir metropolis. It's your first night on the job as a delivery driver, and you have only 2 rules. 1, don't miss a delivery, and 2, don't ask what's in the package. It features hidden locations, unlocking more stories for you to explore. Now, walking simulators are a bit contentious in the gaming world. A lot of people say they're not games because you don't actually do a lot of gameplay, but a lot of people really like them because the narratives are usually really strong and engaging. Me, I'm pretty in the middle. I'm not sure if I'd call them a proper game, but at the same time, they're fun, and I enjoy a few of them, so if you like them, play them. Doesn't really matter what people think they are or they aren't. Either way, you know if you're a fan of them, and you get involved in them for the stories. And just like this, you meet people, you hear different stories, get to immerse yourself in the world, and see a lot of different stories from different people. If that sounds interesting to you, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. But if you're not a fan of walking simulators, or that just sounds boring to you, then you definitely don't want to pick this one up. But hey, you'll know if it sounds like it's a game for you, and if it is, you'll have a lot of fun with this one. And if that's the case, definitely take a look at it. It's a really well-reviewed game from the people that enjoy this sort of thing. And hey, if you've never played a walking simulator before, then you could start here. In general, there's not a huge amount of walking simulators around, and this is a pretty well reviewed one at a pretty good price. So if you're interested in this genre, or you like the theme of this one, then why not check it out? You might just have a lot of fun, and find your new favorite game genre to play. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinakami Chronicles Ultimate Edition is our next game. It was released in 2023, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of $18.24, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty decent deal considering all of the content included, and the full price of the game generally. As this edition includes the PS4 and PS5 version, with all of the DLC included, with all of the character pass content, and the deluxe content, plus other extras as well, so you're getting the complete version of the game, with a ton of extra content included, which is really great. In this fighter, you get to relive the memorable moments from the show as you fight the demonic threat. It features 24 fighters, including demons to choose from, and a story mode, versus mode, 2-player off and an online multiplayer, and a lot of fun if you're a fan of the series. Now, in general, there's a lot of fighters to choose from, and the biggest ones are usually not themed ones, i.e. they're not attached to a franchise. But hey, if you're a fan of a franchise and you like fighters, you can have a lot of fun with them. I used to play a lot of Dragon Ball Z fighters back in the day, and I loved them. So if you're a Demon Slayer fan and you like fighting games, you should definitely check this out. It's a really good, well-polished game with a lot of characters and content included, and it follows the story of the show. Definitely take a look at it. You'll probably have a lot of fun with this. And hey, if you've never played a fighter before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a really good game, but it's still quite expensive. And especially if you're not into Demon Slayer, you're much better off picking up one of the big AAA fighting game series games instead. And they're usually much cheaper than this as well. But don't worry, I'll let you know when they're on sale in the future. Our next game is Digimon Survive. It was released in 2022, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £9.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, especially as Japanese anime franchise games are usually pretty pricey. Now, this is a unique mix of visual novel and tactical RPG, and after getting lost on a school trip, you end up transported to a new world full of ferocious foes and new allies, where you must team up with your friends to survive and escape back to your own world before it's too late. Now, Digimon's a massive franchise, and there's quite a few games for it as well. Most of them are RPGs, but this one's a bit unique in that it mixes it with visual novel. So there is a lot of tactical RPG gameplay in this, but in between that, there's a lot of visual novel content. So if you're not a fan of reading or story content in general, then you'll probably hate this game, even if you like Digimon. But hey, if you like Digimon, and you like tactical RPGs and visual novels, this is a very unique game, and you'll probably love this game if you like all of this content. And if that's the case, then definitely take a look at this. It's very unique, it's very different, and if you like all of the genres it covers, you'll have a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you've never played a visual novel tactical RPG before, because I don't think there is another one, then you could start here. But only if you like Digimon. It's not the cheapest game around, but it is very unique, and there's not a lot of options in this genre. I don't think there's any more as far as I'm aware. But in any case, if you're a fan, then you could check it out. But if not, there's not really other options, then you're better off starting with a different genre or something else instead. Our next game is Phobia St. Dinfar Hotel. It was released in 2022, so it's 2 years old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £2.49, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool looking game. In this survival horror, while investigating mysterious disappearances at a haunted hotel, you find a camera that reveals different timelines from other dimensions, and now you must survive puzzles to survive the numerous horrors roaming the halls of the hotel. Now, this game's got really good reviews. A load of people really love this game, and that's a big accolade because the survival horror genre is jam-packed with games, especially in the indie scene. There's loads of them. They're practically endless. And this game looks like a really good quality one with a load of really good content and a lot of good gameplay that people really like. So if you're into survival horror games, and especially games in multiple dimensions and haunted hotels, then you'll probably really enjoy this. I think if you give it a chance, it'll be the best game you've played in ages. And hey, if you've never played a survival horror before, then you could definitely start here. It's a really good quality game that's really well reviewed at a really low price, so you can't really ask for much more really. But if you are looking for something a bit more AAA, you can get other games nearly this price, and even ones from Legendary series as well. So if you'd rather wait for them, check back and watch future videos, and then you won't miss them when they're on sale next. Get Even is our next game. It was released in 2017, so it's 7 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £3.74, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great price for a cool looking game. In this first-person thriller, with your memories lost, you undergo a treatment that allows you to relive your only remaining memory, a rescue attempt of a teenage girl with a bomb strapped to her chest. Did you save the girl? Will you regain your memories completely? The only way to find out is to complete the game and solve your own personal mystery of who are you and what happened. Now this is a pretty common theme in games, having to regain your memories and not remembering stuff. But this game's got a cool little spin on it, where you can relive that last memory you have, hoping to solve your own mystery and work out what happened and what you're missing. There's not a lot of thriller games around in general, so it's nice to see something a bit different in this genre as well. So if you're into thrillers with cool stories and twists, you might really enjoy this game. It's a cool little idea, and I think people will like it if they like thrillers and this sort of gameplay. So if you like the sound of that, why not check this out? You'll probably have a lot of fun with it. And hey, if you've never played a first-person thriller before, then you could start here. It looks like a pretty decent game at a really good price, and in general you don't have a lot of options in this genre. But don't worry, if any more go on sale, I'll let you know in future videos. We have a psychological horror game next, Homebody. It was released in 2023, so it's only a year old, and it's on at least a 75% discount for the price of £3.87 or £3.09 with PS Plus, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal for an interesting little game. In this game, after meeting your college friends to watch the Perseid meteor shower, the night takes a turn for the worst as the power fails, and a mysterious killer starts picking you off one at a time. It features puzzles to solve, and a retro PS1 graphic style as well, which is really cool. Now, this game does have mixed reviews. Some people really don't like the gameplay, and they say some of the puzzles are too hard. But most people really like the game, and the people that didn't like the puzzles, once they got past them, they really enjoyed the story and the rest of the game in general. So if you're into psychological horror games, but you like stories as well, then you'll probably really enjoy this. In this genre, it's unusual for people to talk so much about the story, so it's pretty unique. If you're into games with really cool stories, and you're a fan of horror games, you should probably check this out because it looks like a really cool game made just for you. And hey, if you've never played a psychological horror before, then you could definitely start here. It looks like a really good quality game at a really good price, but there is a lot of games in horror and psychological horror genres in general, so you will have a massive amount of options. So if you're not as interested in this game as I think you might be, then don't worry, there'll be plenty more games for you to choose from in future videos instead. We have an FPS Next, Hunting Simulator 2 Elite Edition. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the price of £9.89, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good deal, as this edition includes the Ranger's Life expansion, Bear Hunter pack, and Beretta weapons. There is a PS4 and PS5 version, but you can't upgrade either, so make sure you pick up the one you want because you're stuck with that version, unless you want to buy it twice anyway. In this game, you get to hunt a variety of animals through expansive and stunning natural environments, with a hunting dog to help you stalk your prey. It features customizable gear, weapons, and accessories as well. So you get to hunt the way you want, with the gear you want, which is pretty good. Now, there used to be a lot of hunting games like this back in the day, in the PS2 era, and they were pretty fun. In general, if you like FPSs and you like shooting stuff, you'll probably enjoy this game. Some people say they're a bit cruel, but it's like, hey, would you rather people hunt real stuff or hunt virtual stuff? Either way, these games can be really fun, especially if you like hunting in general, or you just like FPSs. You might get a bit of fun out of it. So if you like the look of it, definitely check this out. It looks like a really cool game for people that enjoy this genre. And hey, if you've never played a hunting simulator before, then you could definitely start here. This is pretty much the only big series around these days, but it's a really well-reviewed series, and people seem to really enjoy it. And this one's pretty modern, with a load of content included as well, so it's a really good deal if you like this sort of thing. But if not, don't worry, there's plenty more games for you to choose from instead. Raji, an ancient epic, is our next game. It was released in 2020, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 75% discount for the price of £4.99, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a pretty good price for a cool looking game, as this includes the PS4 and PS5 version, with enhanced graphics and ray tracing for the PS5 version, which looks really cool. In this action-adventure, a new war has started between demons and gods, and as the demons lay waste to humanity, the gods choose a young girl as the last hope of mankind, and now she must rediscover the lost power of alchemy to defeat the demons before it's too late. Now, this game looks really cool. I'm surprised I haven't seen more about it, because I like these sorts of action-adventure games, and this looks like a really good one, with a really cool art style and story. I really like the art style of the graphics in this game. They seem to have played a lot with light and visuals, and with the ray tracing enabled on PS5, it looks really pretty. So if you're a fan of action-adventure games, and you like games that have a bit of a cool story or a nice art style, then you'll probably really enjoy this game. I'm pretty interested myself, and I'll probably pick it up in a future sale if it gets a bit cheaper. But hey, if you're interested as much as I am, why not check it out? I think it's a really cool little game, and my gut feeling says it's a great game for people that like this sort of thing. And hey, if you've never played an action adventure before, then I wouldn't recommend starting here. It's a really good quality game, but you can get others cheaper, and even big AAA ones for about the same price as well. So you have a lot of options to choose from, and others are probably better for you to start with than this. But hey, if you're interested in it, like I said, it's a good quality looking game, so why not check it out if you really like the look of it. Up next is my star buy, Shing Digital Deluxe Edition. It was released in 2020, so it's 4 years old, and it's on a 95% discount for the price of 99 pence, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal, as this edition includes the PS4 dynamic theme and the official soundtrack as well. Just be careful because the normal versions are more expensive, so make sure you pick up the Digital Deluxe Edition. In this beat 'em up, you get to become a kick-ass wisecracking ninja as you adventure through a land of mythical monsters and mysterious machines as you slice up a load of demons in style. It features switchable characters and 4-player offline and online multiplayer as well, so it's a great game to play with friends, family, at parties, and online as well. Now, in general, I'm a big fan of beat-em-ups. I used to really like them back in the day. Really love the Streets of Rage series, and it's nice to see them coming back a bit these days. There seems to be quite a few options around, and this looks like a really cool one. I've picked this one up myself, and I'm excited to play it at some point. So if you're a fan of beat-em-ups as much as I am, and maybe you've got a thing for ninjas, then why not check this game out? It looks like a really cool game. Like I said, it's my style buy. It's well worth your time and money, I promise. And hey, if you've never played a beat-em-up before, then you could definitely start here. It's a modern game at a really low price and looks like really good quality. So if you're interested in this genre, why not check it out? It's a really good game, and I think you'll absolutely love it if you give it a try. We have a deck building adventure next, Signs of the Sojourner. It was released in 2021, so it's 3 years old, and it's on an 85% discount for the low price of £2.39, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really good price for a really unique and interesting game. In this game, after you inherit your mother's shop, you travel around looking for goods to sell, and along the way encounter all sorts of characters as you use your deck of cards to communicate and build relationships with them. It features multiple endings depending on who you speak with and what relationships you build between the different characters. Now, using a deck of cards to communicate with people and build relationships is a really cool idea, and depending on who you gel with and what sort of relationships you build with the people you meet, you get different endings and different ways the story plays out, which is really cool and interesting. This is a very unique game and it won quite a few awards when it came out, and I'm surprised I haven't heard more about it, because unique games like this I would expect people to really enjoy and for it to be a bit more popular than this. Either way though, it looks like a really cool indie game, and I think if you're into games that are a bit different, or you like deck builders, or games based around communication and story, with relationships and characters, you'll probably love this game. So if you like the sound of that, definitely take a look at it. And hey, if you've never played a deck builder adventure before, then I'm not sure I'd recommend starting here. It's a really good game at a really good price, but it is very different and is atypical of the genre, so you're probably better off starting with one of the more mainstream games instead. But hey, if you really like the look of it, take a chance on it. It may be different and unique, but it's a really good quality game as well, so you might really enjoy it if you're interested. And the final game I have for you is Tesla Grad 2, PS4 and PS5. It was released in 2023, so it's only a year old, and it's on a 90% discount for the low price of £1.59, which is the cheapest I've ever seen it, and a really great deal for a really cool game. In this Metroid Vania, after your airship gets shot down in the far north, you are forced to use your electromagnet Teslamancer powers to fight for your life while exploring a long-abandoned tower and conquering ancient monsters. Now, I completed the first game of this and I absolutely loved it. In general, I really like Metroidvanias, and the first game was a really good quality, fun and enjoyable Metroidvania. Highly recommended. And if you're interested in that, the remaster is on sale for 79p, 90% discount, which is dirt cheap. Why not pick up the first one or both if you're interested? Either way, like I said, I loved the first game, and the second game is really well reviewed as well. They built on the first one and improved on it, and if it's anything like the first one, it's going to be a really good game. So if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, definitely check this out. I really enjoyed the first one, and I'm really looking forward to playing the second one at some point as well. Fans of Metroidvanias should definitely take a look. And hey, if you've never played a Metroidvania before, then you could definitely start here. But why not start with the first one? Because it's only 79 pence at the moment, and it's a really good game at a really good price, and it's remastered as well. And if you're really interested, then pick up both. But if you're not interested in these, Metroid Vanias are really good in general, and the big difference between them is the story and theme. So if you're not into the story and theme of this one, then there'll be plenty more options for you to choose from in future videos instead. And that's all the games I have for the November savings and games under £15 PSN sales. What did you think of the games I picked? Did I pick good ones or did I pick bad ones? And what about the start buy? Did it deserve it, or should some other game have got it instead? Leave all your comments below and we can talk about it later. Anyway, I hope you guys found some really cool games to play, but more importantly I hope you saved a lot of money. I'll see you guys in the next sale. Au revoir.